as if by magic. Okay, brilliant. Excuse me. So what I said I'd do is I would run through Azam's profile. I think with the greatest of respect to them, I've got plenty to work with. That's fantastic. If anyone's got any questions, it's a relatively small group this week, so feel free to come off of mute and state your question. I don't want this to be a lecture. It works much better if it's interactive and we've all got something to say and all of that. Is that okay? Okay, right. So we're sharing screen. Am I sharing? No, we will do in a second. There we go. Okay, just give us a thumbs up if you can now see Azam's profile on your screens. Fantastic, thank you very much. What would be also helpful? Thank you, Shaista. That would be really, if you could drop in the chat, is helpful for me. Where you're coming in from, because not everyone's in the UK. That would be really helpful for me just to kind of see what's happening. That would be really, really helpful. So, first of all, Azam, this is fantastic. Now, is that photo taken in the UK, in England?
Yep, exactly.
Okay,
that's basically I think it's just behind the Lensbury Resort in Tennington.
Wow, there you go. There you go. That's just this green and pleasant land that we kind of talk about. So that's interesting. Now, where I'm going to get critical with a small c.
Yeah.
Is that we can't see all of your face as them. And you've got to remember this is a great photo. I mean, a photographer would say you're meeting all the things, the face is in the right place, and we've got a context there. It's more than just a headshot. But for the purposes of your LinkedIn profile, we need to have a close-up, of your face. Now, not everyone is really comfortable with that, but that is just a hurdle that some of us have got to kind of get over. I will make occasional comparisons with mine just to illustrate the purposes. Yeah. Now, even though I could probably argue mine isn't close up enough, there's a bit of a context, but you would probably recognize me if I was sat in reception.
Got it. Yeah, I will change it. I already noted it down, so this is my first system.
And it could be the same photo, but you can zoom in with the LinkedIn thing. Okay, right. Okay. So back to you again. Now, this, unless you're Bill Gates or some other really, really famous, worldwide famous personality, where you wouldn't need to worry about your banner ad. You've got an instantly recognizable face. This is what I call solid gold digital real estate. And you should put something behind your profile. This is your profile photo here. You should put in something behind that in some way reinforces what you do for a living. So, Azam, just remind me, I know you got some words up there already, but just remind us what you do for a living in your own words.
Basically, as I told you earlier, that I'm basically a mechanical engineer, and I started my career with one of the local company in Pakistan. Then I moved to Chevron, where I spent 20 years in different departments, starting with operations, maintenance, projects, and then landed into health, environment, safety. From that onward, I continue my passion with the health, environment, safety, quality, and training. And I moved to Saudi Arabia in 2016. And I have also still in the same category, but my field of operation is being changed from refined lubricants. Now I am in aviation industry. So basically, health, environment, safety, quality training related to operations belongs to refined oil, lubricants, and aviation products.
So, okay, thank you for that. So what would be great, and I am not, I trained as an engineer, but my boss told me, Keith, you need to find something else. So and that was my pivotal moment for my career, Azam. So you need to find an image a photo that kind of fits that narrative, if you like. So
Yep.
in my head, as you were talking there, and as a lay person, a non-engineer, I've got, you know, great big pipes that I would associate with an oil refinery or something like that, and something that reinforces what you do for a living. I would encourage
Would
you.
it be Keith, would it be a combination of different segments, like, or it should be a one picture depicting everything?
Well, that's a really good question. For this purpose, I would argue just one image. What you're talking about, I think, is a gallery of images.
Yep. Yeah.
But here's the point: most people, when they are doing their research on LinkedIn or scrolling through LinkedIn, they're going to be looking at one of these. Okay, on a very small screen. And so you could have the most fantastic artwork behind you, but it's just not going to get noticed. So you've got to have something which is arresting. They're going to stop them scrolling, and you can only do that by really having a single image. And just by way of contrast on mine, for the most part, I'm a sales trainer and LinkedIn and all of that. And so I've got a very clear message. The arrow here is in my corporate colors, which is a Pantone of 0635A4. I've got a thing for numbers. So that's on brand for me, because and I'll show you this in just a second, but this points to, when you go onto my profile, there's probably a little bell here. Which means that you can press that. I'll go back to yours to see if we can do that. Now, it's not showing on yours for some reason, and that might be for different reasons. But notwithstanding, you need to get an image here which is reinforces what you do for a living. So, you know, pipe work, things like that. Okay, so now I'm guessing you graduated from somewhere, Azam. There you go. So. University of Engineering and Technology. So you've got a bachelor's degree. So I would suggest that after your family name here, your highest academic qualification would go in there, BSc, whatever it happens to be. I would suggest. I'm just 1 second. I just want to show you best practice thing. Now, I didn't go to university. It wasn't a thing in my family, so I can't really show you an example of that. But I can show you this example here, which is there we go. So this is Mrs. Roselle, and so we're based in York, about 200 miles north of London. And so this is an image of York. So that kind of reinforces that there. And Tracy's highest qualifications are here. So you've got masters, hence the MA, and her professional body. That's another thing for you. You're probably a member of a professional body, Azam. Whatever, what would be the body that you're a member of your engineering qualification?
Yeah, you're a member of Mechanical Engineering Society, then a member of JIC community, global communities. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So you would have that after your name. You would the mechanics or the hydraulics of how to do that is that you would go in and edit your family name, and then just put in the letters afterwards, and that'll appear here. Anyway, back to you. Okay. So good. This is who you're working for at the moment, and you've got their logo in there. That's fantastic. And your academic alma mater, if you like, is right here. Now, interestingly, Azam, for some reason, sorry, have you got a question?
Yeah, sorry. I only like display the one where I'm working right now. Is it appropriate to place every company where you have already worked, for example, Chevron, or for example, Cefic or ICI?
I think you've got those in the correct place down here.
Yeah. So it is only like we can only the current employer can be displayed there.
Yes. So your current company, just to scroll down from mine. Here's my company here, and there's a box in there to tick that you're currently at that company.
Previous. Okay. Okay.
1 second. There you go. Here it is. I am currently working in this role, and what that tells LinkedIn is to put that logo right up the top.
Okay. Okay.
Right up the top there. Let's take that off and go back to you. Okay, right. So we've got that.
Okay.
Got that. Okay, so we can. What else we got? Now I don't know what HSSE is. That's health and safety or something like that.
Yeah, health, safety, security, environment, and quality assurance.
Okay. Now I am guessing that the people you're looking to appeal to, your target market, in other words, Azam, will recognize what that means.
Yep, that's true.
And a recruit, I beg your pardon, and it's more likely that that's going to be a recruiter than a hiring manager themselves. So I would argue that's probably okay. You do QA manager, Arabian. Now it already says, okay, you can have that. Now it's got you here. You're listing out as being based in Canada. So that's up to you. You might have dual residency or whatever it happens to be, and we get a lot of those. So whatever it's whatever message you want to portray to the market now. And we work in an online world often, hence we're all here. Excuse me. And so we can be wherever we want in the world. So that doesn't matter quite so much. Right, let's have a, by the way, for some reason, we're still not directly connected. There's this box marked pending here. I think I've sent you a connection invite, but for some reason it's not gone through. I will look at that after this.
Okay, okay.
If that's okay. What I might have to do is withdraw the invite and then try again. What I might have to do that. Okay, right. So let's have a look at your contact. Now, first of all, you have to ask yourself also, why are you on LinkedIn? What do you want LinkedIn to do for you? So do you mind if I ask what you want LinkedIn to do for you?
The basic purpose, as I discussed with most of my colleagues who are a big user of LinkedIn, they said that if you want to pursue your career and you want to progress and you want some people to see your career, and you could be a good option for them, and you can have a better opportunity somewhere else, so they can be seen you through the LinkedIn. So it's better to just portray what you have done and what is your credential, what is your strength. So best replicate in the LinkedIn page. Understood.
So I'm going to put that under the professional opportunities, if you like. Okay.
Yep.
So in other words, so now, do you remember I mentioned most searching, not all, but most searching is actually done on here. Yeah. So we need to, this is what we in sales will call a poke in the eye. We need to make it very obvious what it is that we want. So if you're actively looking for work, there is I have to go to my profile for this, but if I'm actively looking for work, I can click on my photo here, add frame, and we get and I get a choice. I can click on here that I'm open to work.
Okay.
Now, most business owners, and I'm a business owner, most business owners are always looking for more work, more contracts to close, all of that. In this instance, this is really about job seekers. So someone that doesn't mind the market knowing that they're looking for work. Because bearing in mind, if you are an employee, you may not be comfortable. And this is great to everyone. Your manager know that you're looking for work. So there are ways and means of doing that, right? And if you're hiring, you could also press that one to show that we're hiring, and that has use. Now, unfortunately, and the UK is not unique in this, but we've got lots of people in the wrong positions in industry, because we've all had the financial crisis, the pandemic, all sorts of other things. A lot of people come off the corporate ladder and haven't made it back to where they once were. So there are lots of people that are looking around for work. And so if you have these, what they call flashes, I don't think that's a differentiator. We're so used to seeing them that by all means have it, but I think you need to do something else. So for anyone that's watching this later on, if you're looking for a job, I'd be inclined to keep that as the original version. And in here, and I am just going to press the button on mine, I would have something like available immediately for new role. And if I just, I've gone over the character limit. Available immediately. There you go. Right.
So anywhere on this page.
Sorry, say that again.
Anywhere on this page, we can just write it down to mention that whether we are available.
I just want to show you what happens when you save that. So in your family name, which I adjusted, you can now see that it says available immediately for. It is a poke in the eye, because we're you've got about 3 seconds to make an impact on someone. So that's what you need to do. I'll go back and rectify.
But by doing this, like, you also be noticed by your manager that whether you are available for a new role or not.
Indeed. So if you're comfortable with that now, in the civil service in the UK, for instance, you know, people move on. People only stay in their roles every 2 or 3 years, and it's likely that they would be quite comfortable knowing that you're moving on. It's different, different operating. Now, you may not be comfortable with that, in which case you wouldn't put that in your headline. What you would do instead, I beg your pardon, you would click. Can you see this box here, open to work? Click on the pencil mark there, and you can stipulate who to make that visible to. So there's a button there marked recruiters only. So these are the job titles I might be interested in working in. These are the locations, and when I'm actively applying, or flexible, or whatever it happens to be. And the drop down box here is I could make it for recruiters and people at my current company, in which case it adds that flash, or you could keep it, shall we say, very quiet, and only a recruitment or a headhunter would be able to, and they have to have a certain version of LinkedIn to be able to see that you're actively looking for work.
Got it.
Is that okay?
Yeah, perfect.
Well, let's go back out of there. Right, let's go back to you again. Okay, so your activity. So you got 51 followers, so you're at the very beginning of your LinkedIn journey, I would argue. So what else is useful in this? Well, first of all, when you're writing about, most people here, under their experience, they would put in what they did. I managed a team of whatever it happens to be. I'm going to suggest you don't do that. I'm going to suggest that instead you put in what you achieved. So if you say, I in my sales world, I sold contracts to Vodafone, to Saudi Aramco, whoever it happens to be, those are my achievements. And because that's why people are going to hire you, they're going to hire you for how you can transform their business, for how you can add value to their business. The same with all of us here. So given that it only gives you a couple of lines to put in there, you want your achievements at the top, and then you can put in the other supporting stuff like I managed a team of whatever it was, or I was based at whatever location, stuff like that. But it's the stuff you want to shout about that goes at the very top.
Got it.
Okay. And you need to do that for, I would say, that at least the last 10 years.
Okay.
Now, another question I get for anyone watching this from time to time is that, I've been working 25, 30 years. Is it worth me putting in stuff that I did 25, 30 years ago? And my answer is, if it's relevant to what you're doing today, then absolutely I would write about it. But philosophically, I'm the person I am today because of the sum of all of the experiences that I've had. So in some sense, almost everything is kind of relevant, but only the positive bits.
Yeah.
Just throw that out there. Excuse me. And so by looking at your profile, what you've got here, I can see who your interests are, who your influences are, and that gives me an idea of what you are like as a person, what interests you. Now, in terms of your profile, it's not fully built out just yet. So I'm going to take you to a bit of my profile, which is, I've been on there since 2004. So so there's obviously a bit more to it. Now, this section here that you can see as analytics is private to you. Only I can see my profile because I'm logged on as me. And so, but there will be an equivalent for you, Azam and Fermin, etc. So I can see there. First of all, ordinarily I would only have the basic version of LinkedIn. That's generally good for me. But they gave me a deal, so I've upgraded, and I can see a little bit more. I've got access to a little bit more analytics. So you'll have this on your dashboard on your profile. But here's mine. It shows me how many profile views, how many people have viewed my profile in the last 90 days. So I can click on that and see who's looked at it. Here we go, it's Andrew. And I can see who's been looking at my profile. And I can decide if they are interesting for my business, in which case I might drop them a line and say, thanks for visiting my profile. I hope you found what you're looking for, something friendly like that. And I might send them a connection request at the same time, because what you want to do is build as many connections, cross-line connections, as you possibly can. Now, if you're on the free version of LinkedIn,
this only gives you an idea that how many people already viewed your profile, but this doesn't give you a clear picture that who is interested in, for example, in contacting you or hiring you or offering you something. Because I think while you, after viewing your profile, they might get connected you through some other messages or even through the LinkedIn. But this is only showing you that how many people have already reviewed your or viewed your profile.
Yeah, and when they viewed it. So it's up to you whether you want to engage, communicate with that person or not. They may decide to take the initiative and think, in which case they'll reach out to you directly, Azam, and approach you about whatever it is. And if you're on the free version of LinkedIn, you can see the last 5 people that looked at your profile, and that could have been 5 people in the last hour or 5 people in the last
3 months,
week, or whatever it happens to be. But it's only the last 5. So if you're busy on LinkedIn, you're active on LinkedIn, you might have to log in and look at that several times a day in order to understand who's coming to your profile. Okay. If you're on the paid for version, which I am, you can see the last 90 days. So whether there's 8 people or 800 people, you can get to see who they all are, and I could write to them, drop them a line or whatever. It's helpful.
So Keith, as a beginner user of LinkedIn, would you recommend to give a certain amount initially, so that at least you can feel that what is the benefit in terms of paying some amount, a little amount, and what benefit you are getting out of it?
Now, it's a good question. it's hard to discern what the benefit is, because this is kind of a slow burn type process. So if you mean, is it worth you paying to upgrade and get the more visible? Listen, if you can afford to do so and you wouldn't miss the money, then I would encourage you to do so, because it gives you more of an idea. I mean, you may actually be eligible for a free trial month. Sometimes LinkedIn, it'll give you a gold or a brown colored box up here on your screen, and a button, and encourage you to click on it and start a free trial. I could survive just as well on the basic version, but they just happened to give me one of those cheap deals, gave me 50% off for a couple of months or something like that, I think. Okay, good, fair question though. Okay, right, so back here again, back to your profile. Back to my right. Here we go. What else we got now? Down here, you won't be able to see it on yours, but on your own profile, when you're logged on as you'll be able to request recommendations, people that you've worked for in the past or worked with. They might be working for the same company as you, but you've worked with them as an internal customer or stakeholder group. You can ask for recommendations, and I have lots of individual clients, and I ask them for recommendations on LinkedIn. Now,
so how you request them for the recommendations?
Good question. So, and again, I can only do this from my profile, but if I go to your profile here now, we're not actually connected, so it may not work. Ding, 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 ding. No, because we're not connected yet. I'll figure that out. Anyway, listen, if I went to Mrs. Roselle's profile here, or anyone's profile, you and click on this more box here, we need to be connected. We need to be
request a recommendation. Yeah.
You can see request a recommendation.
Yeah.
Here's a top tip, by the way. I don't think I'm unique in this, but I find it very hard to work from a blank sheet of paper. So to write a reference or a recommendation that's really hard for me. So I generally give them 3 points. For you, Azam, it would be, how's my engineering knowledge? Do I, am I really knowledgeable in this particular? You could even say my knowledge of fluid dynamics or hydraulics or whatever it is that's useful to you. Number 2, what am I like to work with as a person? Am I friendly? Am I approachable? All of those things. And number 3, you can make up with the third one. I can't even think of something, but I generally give people 3 points. Now not putting words in their mouths, but could you write about these 3 things? That would really help me. And that helps them, because they can go, it'll take them 5 minutes to write it rather than an hour to really think about it. So I think it's a professional courtesy to do that. Discard that. There we go.
Perfect. Yeah.
Now, if you've been working more than 5 years, I'll be polite. You could probably go to, let's say, 50 people. Remember, they're not always hiring managers. They're just 50 people you've worked with over the last 10 years. They might be customers. They might be colleagues. Well, would you mind writing me a recommendation? And about half will and about half won't. And so, when they do write you a recommendation and they click on send, then it will come to your inbox under messages, and then you can click on yes, I accept this, and it will come up on your profile. Okay, right. And what else we got? We've got okay. So I don't post that often, only once a week or so. I should do more, but I don't. I'm quite active in conversations about sales related stuff, or decision management. So that's what people would recognize me for. But I can also check out how my posts are doing. So, and you could do the same for yours when you're logged on as yours. I could see who's engaging with my posts, what kind of people. Interestingly, lots of sales coaches engage with my posts. I don't know why that is. I recommend, and I shouldn't have to tell salespeople this, but you go to where your customers are likely to be. I'm not going to be a customer of a sales coach anytime soon. I don't mean that arrogantly. I talk to lots of sales coaches, but not as customers, because we're sharing knowledge. That's a good thing to do, right? And what else is useful from that? Anyway, that gives you a sense of that. The other thing I should show you on my profile is here. How many? And this is interesting for you. How many times you've appeared in search requests? Okay, so if I click on here, search appearances, it gives us some insight here. The top companies that made searches on LinkedIn come from, I don't even know that organization, but I know that university. I'm doing some work for them, and I know Hydrick, they're a firm of headhunters. It'll give you the top job titles of your searchers down here. So what that tells you is, am I appealing to the right community? And also here, keywords you were found for. Now, heaven only knows how the LinkedIn algorithm works. It's constantly changing, as you would expect. But I'm encouraged to know that I'm being found for sales director. That's encouraging to me. Why I'm being found for a director of store operations, I don't know. But that might cause me to go back and have a look at the words that I'm using. Because obviously I want to get found as many times as possible for the kind of work that I do, which is LinkedIn training. Well, actually, that's that much. Most of my business is in helping people sell. Okay, right. What else we got? Let's go back to you again. So we've got that. We covered that. More agree. Yeah. Okay. All in place. Masters. Oh, you got a master's as well. Okay, do you know I hadn't picked that up? You got an MBA. So that as the most senior, if you like, academic qualification that you've got, that probably ought to appear that you've got an MBA, because that tells me a couple of things. Sam, you're not only are you knowledgeable about engineering stuff, you've got an MBA, so you can talk to the C-suite about the chief executive, CFO, etc., about stuff, and actually that is really sets you apart. Now I don't know where the MBA came from, but if it's a brand which is positive, then you might want to put that up there as well. So an MBA that would set you apart, because we're looking at how to make you stand out from all the other engineers that are on. And there are just over 800 million people on LinkedIn, by the way. So there's a lot of competition for whatever role it is we're all kind of doing. Now, but Fermin, can I just sorry to put you on the spot, but please do chime in if you've got any questions at all. Please do feel free to ask.
Yes, thank you very much. Let me, I was following you with the explanation you said, and there is one specific part in my profile. I have just after my basic information, one section says find potential clients by showcasing the services you provide. You cannot see it. I think it's only for personal, I guess.
If you're signed up, you can only see it on your profile. Only you can see that. So I think you're talking about
maybe first of all it says open to work, and the position that I'm looking for example, and then next to it says find potential clients by showcasing the services you provide. And I don't have nothing here, but it says get started, and you can it's a section how it works. Tell us about your services and work preference. Get found in search result when people look for services, and let potential clients reach out to you for free. It's kind of a show out what do you do, how do you do it. It's another section that, to be honest, I would never be aware of it. Now that you was following all this section, I find it was quite interesting.
Yeah, no, and that's a really good shout, actually. I often forget to point that out, so I'm really glad that you mentioned it. But this is the box you're talking about here, Fermin, I think, providing services.
Exactly.
Yes? Is that what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So you'll get options. Same for you, Azam, here for whatever services, expertise that you've got. You get 10 to pick from, and then you can pick whatever's relevant. So negotiation, public speaking, things like that. That's all relevant to me. That's the things I talk about and I'm available for, if you like. And then you would pick the 10 options, and there's probably a million options that LinkedIn offers. So I would encourage you, and I'm glad you asked that, Fermin. I'd encourage you offline to explore that and look at what is most relevant for you and where you want to go with LinkedIn. Similar for Andrea as well. Let me come out there a second. The what else? We're into the last 5 minutes or so. I just want to bring one or two things to, excuse me, your attention there. That's my service page. Let's go to my profile. There we go. Right. So just here, and again, I can only show you this as part of my profile. If you've got a body of work, an about you type post, you can feature them on what's called your show reel. And on here, you can see some of my, should we say, better performing posts. And I want to go on how to post in just a second. So recent bit of news, I won a contract with quite a famous management school, Lancaster University. So now I'm not, it sounds unusual for a salesperson, but I'm actually not that comfortable showing off. Okay, so it's a hurdle that I have to get over myself. But anyway, so I announced that I'm taking on board some more work. And I wrote about it, and a link to that post is here, and I put it as it's the most recent sort of big post that I did. And so if people want to find out more about me and what I do, they could go to that link and click on that link there and find out all about that. So it's like the best of your LinkedIn communications are all in here, your featured sort of show reel. Now I want to go to all featured items. There should be a featured post in there. Yeah, I'm going to try and take, yeah, here we go, this one here. So I wanted to show you not just how to make a post, because I would imagine we can all do that. Well, I'm going to ask that. Are you, Azam, are you comfortable actually writing a post? You know what buttons to press, in other words, or do you want me to show you that?
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
You're comfortable writing that. I just want to show you why I think this post did well. Excuse me. First of all is, do you remember I said people are generally going to be scrolling down here, and they're going to scroll immediately past your whatever you've posted, unless you give them reason to stop scrolling. And the way that you're going to do that is with an attention grabbing headline. So now most people, I don't even know what most people are going to put, but it takes a lot of thinking about. So I've put background to this is when the pandemic first started, because this is a couple of years old. We were in lockdown. My wife and I were both ill, not with COVID, but with something else. And we couldn't get out to the shops. So I got Uber Eats is something that we have in the United Kingdom. Most people know the Uber name, which is someone on a bicycle that will bring you loads of shopping to your house. And as I say this out loud, it sounds very lazy, but we actually couldn't get to the shops. I placed this order. It was only for about £40. And it delivered it with a smile. It was on time. And there was a free packet of chocolate biscuits in there for as a thank you for my first ever order that I placed with that particular store, a store called Waitrose.
Oh.
And that would be the equivalent, I don't know, Fermin, if you have Winn-Dixie or anything like that in Mexico City. I know in the southern United States, Winn-Dixie is a big chain. Anyway, so it's the little thing. So I was really pleased with this. It's a packet of chocolate biscuits. It's £1. It's not, it's not a big deal. But so I wrote a few words, and this took me 2 hours to write, by the way. I'm not very quick at writing. It took me 2 hours. So it's got a couple of things. It's got an attention-grabbing headline. It's different. And it also goes in a bit of an arc. Now, I didn't know this until fairly recently, but somebody identified that to me. So it's quite pleasing on the eye. And I hope as an engineer, actually, you might see some relevance in making that statement. It's quite easy on the eye. It's not ragged rights or anything all over the place. There's a bit of an arc, a bit of a curve there. So it's also bearing in mind people are going to be reading it on here. There's lots of white space. It's not all the text isn't jumbled up together, which makes it really hard to read. And by hard to read, what I mean is people aren't going to bother. They're not going to go, unless you're Bill Gates, people are not going to struggle to read your writing, no matter how brilliant you are. You haven't got the digital credibility, if you like, and nor have I. And then what I did was, what's the result? I felt great about the Waitrose. It's a supermarket chain called Waitrose. So I tagged them into the post because it was positive about their brand. And so I pitched a question: what little things could your business offer your new customers? So just get people to think, intrigue. And then I included some hashtags. Now, I don't wish to offend you, but do you know what hashtags are?
Not a good idea.
Okay. Well, no, hashtags, I'm sorry. They are, let me just click a button here. So if you want to write a hashtag on your post, it is a way to, because if you've got 50 odd connections as you have, not many people are going to get to see that. So it's a way to broaden the number of people that are going to see your post. So I write about sales. So I would write hashtag sales. And you can see that drop down box come up there. It tells me that sales is the top performing one. If I was to write a hashtag, and I think I'm going to use engineering, engineering is the top performing one. But you could choose many. You should minimum of 3 and a maximum of 5 will help you broaden out. And you try to think about what other people might be searching for. Try to put yourself in your customer's position. What are they going to be looking for? What are they going to be searching for? Let me just come out of there. And that was that was an example of why I think that post performed quite well. And just to go, so it was the attention-grabbing headline. It was easy on the eye. It was easy to read. There's lots of white space and space between the words. I tagged in a big brand. who also got in on the action because it was positive about their brand. It was packet of chocolate biscuits as the photo. Nothing to do with engineering, nothing really to do with sales, other than a customer experience thing. And the result was, I recognize I got more connections, but 400 odd likes. But the most important thing is 36,000 impressions. 36,000 people saw that. And so that was quite a well-performing sort of post for me. Did I get any business from that? Probably not, but I got a lot of digital coverage, if you like. So
Exactly.
that was interesting.
Got it. Yeah, right.
Well, we are out of time. I recognize that. I've got 2 more minutes. You're welcome to go if you've got to go. But if anyone's got any questions for 2 minutes, I'm happy to answer any questions, or I won't be offended if you've got to jump off.
Just one thing, like as you have noted down many things, so I think I will continue with these sessions. Next week I would be in UK, but in a meeting, so I might not be able to join next week. But going forward, I would keep updated, and I will share you. You can just log into my LinkedIn, and you can also advise through the messages that what should need to be updated, and we can again chat anytime as you plan the events. So I will keep joining you.
Well, I'll make sure I send you an invite to the next thing, just to let you know what's going on. I recognise we've all got a job to do and all of that, but I'll try very hard to keep doing something every Tuesday. But sometimes I just run out of ideas, and I could do with a bit of, if someone wants me to talk about something one day, then I'm more firm in. That goes for you and Andrea too. If you want me to talk about some particular subject, I'm very happy to do that. It helps me create content, which is the key part.
Keith.
Yeah.
So I would like to know about selling things, like selling paintings and cards from personalized from photographs, because that's something that I can do quite, and I enjoy doing it. And so that's what I've been thinking of. And even telling children's stories and things like that, and even writing them and selling books and things and rhymes. And so the question is, I set up, I thought I'll do a shop on something else, on another app. And then I thought, I think because LinkedIn is so, I'm finding LinkedIn the best thing to use. Can I make a shop on LinkedIn, and can I put all my things on LinkedIn as if it's a shop, or can I do it on the other thing that's good, YouTube?
I was going to say, I'm not sure LinkedIn is the right platform for that, Andrea. Maybe I need to do a bit of thinking. Good question, though. I don't know the answer to that. Here's one thing I need to finish up with this here. You shouldn't use LinkedIn just to sell. I advise everyone this. If the only thing you post about is buy my stuff, people are going to get desensitized to that. So if anyone's heard of Gary V or Gary Vaynerchuk, I don't know, Fermin, if you know him, he's based in New York. So I'll send you a link to his profile. He's got about 7 million followers. He is someone that doesn't need that banner behind him. He's quite famous. He talks about, which I think is a Mike Tyson strategy, jab, jab, punch. So a jab is some value, your opinion on, I don't know, some engineering masterpiece or some fantastic piece of artwork, your opinion, giving something of yourself of value to the market. If you do 2 of those, jab, jab, then you can come in with a punch about buy my stuff. People will forgive you for that, because you're giving twice as much value as you are before you're asking something. Let me finish on that. But a good, really good question, Andrew. If you want to drop me, we are connected. If you want to drop me a line, flesh out your thoughts a bit more, I will put some thought into that, because it's a good question. You can't be alone in thinking that. But for the moment, sorry, we are 7 minutes over. But listen, really good. Azam, I hope that was helpful.
Yeah, really helpful. And I think it would be a starting step for me to just start shaping my LinkedIn profile.
Yeah, excellent. Wish you luck with that. Any questions?
Thank you very much.
See you again. But until then, have a fantastic day wherever in the world you are. Take care.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
You're
Thanks.
very
Thanks.
welcome.
Thank you a lot. Thanks a lot.
Thank you
Bye
very
now.
much, Keith. Thank
Yeah,
you, everyone.
Cheers.
Thank
Cheers.
you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye now.